Here's what I'd like to kind of unpack with you, because I think obviously with everything that's going on, it's looking very black and white. It's almost like if you're against what the government is doing, the Iranian government, if you're against the Iranian government, then surely you're supporting what Israel is doing right now, because that is weakening them and it's, almost toppling them in a way. And if you're not, or if you are against what Israel is doing right now, then you're somehow a state propagandist, or at the very least supportive of the Iranian government. And this is, I feel like, the black and white narrative that's been taking place in very simplistic Twitter debates online and other kind of platforms. But I've been seeing it quite a bit, at least in the narrative that's being pushed out in these editorials, in these op-eds.
Absolutely. And it's not even just on Twitter debates online. The same day that Israel bombed, again, civilian infrastructure, and journalists, the IRIB, Iran's national media company. And despite our, you can have your reservations about the media company, but you can't bomb journalists, especially when they're live on air. It's absurd. And 2 people were killed from that bombing, including just one staffer who just last week he was just going to his job as an intern or working in the back room at a news company. And now he's killed in Israel's strike on, my boss is calling.
Yep.
I forgot I have a job.
Bring them on the show.
Probably a good idea. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. And at the same time that Israel is literally taking out infrastructure for Iranian state media, Iran International, a diaspora, right-wing, Pahlavi peddling, Saudi-funded media, quote-unquote media outlet with quote-unquote journalists, hosts Netanyahu himself to speak directly to Iranian people. This is strategic.
What does this tell you? What does this mean? If we can kind of just highlight that.
This is absolutely this is like Netanyahu's, this was my nightmare as a kid. This is Netanyahu's dreams since he was a kid. This is his idea of actual complete regime change in Iran, one that is top down, toppling any sort of democracy, care for women, even though he constantly says Zan Zindagi Azadi, which is just infuriating and makes my ears bleed. He wants to install another puppet regime in Iran, as the United States did in 1953 with a coup, toppling a democratically elected prime minister and installing a puppet king, whose now relatives are in LA claiming that he still has the right to the throne, this billionaire elderly man who has no connection to reality on the ground and is trying, and with Netanyahu trying to restore some empire in Iran that the Iranian people have rightfully so toppled again and again. So this is absolutely about more than just.
Do you think he has support on the ground, Hoda? Because each time Israel has some sort of confrontation with Iran over the last few years, we've seen Pahlavi come up on our screens, right? And I think what people don't understand is what is the status of someone like that inside Iran.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Iranians are a monolith. There are people who support him. There are people who despise him, as there are every single type of people everywhere in the world. To say that nobody domestically in Iran supports Pahlavi would be dishonest. Now, is starting a war with Iran, a unilateral attack on Iran, and having sort of strikes that are killing people and destroying hospitals and civilian infrastructure and putting all of these Iranians in a state of panic and fear and terror. If for a moment anybody thinks that actually creates a condition for a democratic people's movement uprising, for people in Iran to feel safe, open, and that they can rise up against their government and install something in their name and something that they love that represents them, is absurd. People are trying to survive right now. And if anything, this is a rally around the flag moment. And this is why the right wing in every single country, including Netanyahu, relies on war in order to consolidate power. It's also happening in Iran right now. With every sanction that's added on Iran, every sort of existential threat literally crumbles the ability for people in Iran to be able to actually rise up and commit themselves to some sort of ground up shift in the status quo, in a people's revolution. And what is ironic is that so many people who, including myself, who are vehemently against the Iranian government, everybody who I know in Iran, in this moment, are also putting out statements and talking about, we need to end the war. Like, who's going to rise up if Iranians are killed? Who's left? Pahlavi wants to come and rule over rubble. Like, what's the outcome of this?